Welcome to War Games episode number 20. I'm hoping I'm doing this right. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. You already know what the deal is. And today, I have for you today a great episode. I'm going to be reviewing NXT Super Tuesday 2. I know I mentioned that in the last episode that was Super Tuesday 2, but that was actually Super Tuesday 1. And of course, AEW Dynamite, which is on Wednesday. Now, for those who don't know, AEW Dynamite's not going to be on Wednesday. This next week, it's going to actually be, I believe, on a Thursday, or it could possibly be on a Tuesday. Who knows? I don't know, but we will get an update soon. So with this said, I'm going to go into this. This was a great night of professional wrestling, and I loved both shows, and it delivered. So with this said, I'm going to get into my picks. First, for NXT Super Tuesday 2. At my number 3 pick is going to be Killian Dane versus Roderick Strong. I think that this was a very unique matchup. It really was a contrast of two different styles, and it made for a great match. Prior to this, though, Killian Dane was a part of this little, I think it's a rivalry, I don't know what it is, between the Undisputed Era and Drake Maverick. And Killian Dane made the save last week, and I guess he didn't care that he made the save last week. So this was going to be an interesting matchup. Both men killed it. Both men absolutely did great. I think that, the contrast of styles, once again, like I mentioned before, was great. Killian Dane, I think that, of course, he was the kind of the dark horse in Sanity, and because he was the replacement, for those who don't know, of Sawyer Fulton, who I believe was released, or I don't remember. And it was awesome. It was awesome kind of to see him grow as a single star. I think he has a great chance, but this was a great opportunity as well. Same thing with Roderick Strong, a former North American champion. So I'm excited to see how this went, and it went great. Both men absolutely killed it, but at the end of the day, Roderick Strong does get the victory. They do beat down on Killian Dane after the match. But then Drake Maverick comes in, makes the save, and still, I guess, Killian Dane and Drake Maverick are not quote-unquote allies yet. Who knows? But I'm going to give this match a 3 out of 4 stars. I think that this was a great match. A pretty solid match, if I could say so myself. And it made for pretty good storytelling. You don't know if Drake Maverick and Killian Dane are going to be friends or tag team partners. Who knows? But I'm really interested in seeing where this story goes. And my number 2 pick is going to be what started off the night, and that's going to be Adam Cole versus Finn Balor for the NXT Championship. The vacated NXT Championship after Killer Cross, or Karrion Kross, whatever you like to call him, had vacated the title a couple weeks back. So this was in result of last week, which was the 60-minute Iron Man match, Fatal 4-Way, and Finn Balor and Adam Cole made a draw, and this is kind of like the sudden death. But this was an absolute phenomenal match, especially since it started off the night for NXT Super Tuesday 2. So Adam Cole gave it, literally, I think he put it, this has to be one of Adam Cole's best match on NXT, because he really gave it to Finn Balor, going after one last shot after another last shot, pulling all the stops. But at the end of the day, Finn Balor does get the victory after doing what he does best and being the extraordinary man that does extraordinary things. And hits the coup de grace, 1, 2, 3, becomes your new NXT champion. I'm really surprised how they put this in the beginning of the show. So I'm going to give this match a 4 out of 4 stars. The storytelling is absolutely beautiful. The chemistry that these two have. And this is, I believe, their first or second match that they've ever competed against each other. Beautiful. Great. I think we've been waiting for this ever since October, so I'm excited, and this was absolutely awesome. But finally, at my number 1 pick is going to be the Steel Cage Battle of the Badasses match, as they like to promote it, between Rhea Ripley and Mercedes Martinez. Now, before I get into everything after the match, Robert Stone has said that Mercedes Martinez is no longer a part of the Robert Stone brand, so this is kind of an interesting factoid, as you will. But this was definitely lived up to the hype. I think that, Mercedes Martinez is definitely the future of the NXT Women's Division. I see a lot of Shayna Baszler in her. I see that kind of dominant reign Hopefully she does go after the NXT Women's Championship in the future, but who knows? But this was technically Rhea Ripley's last match on NXT, so I mean, this was awesome nonetheless. Both women absolutely killed it. I mean, Mercedes Martinez, dominated most of the match, but at the end of the day, Rhea Ripley does get that victory after hitting I believe it's a pump handle slam? I don't remember. On top of the cage. Well, not on top of the cage, but on top of the turnbuckle, which was technically on top of the cage, and gets the victory. I'm going to give this match a 4 out of 4 stars. I think this main event really lived up to the hype, and I loved absolutely everything about it. I'm hoping that Rhea Ripley does well in the main roster or wherever she goes next, and same thing goes for Mercedes Martinez. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give NXT the grade A. I think it was absolutely a great night. There were so many great moments, whether that was Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae doing dinner with Tegan Nox and all that business, or, there was so many great moments from this, and I think NXT Super Tuesday 2 was absolutely phenomenal. And now on to my top 3 picks for AEW Dynamite. At my number 3 pick is going to be Kipsapien revealing his best man for the wedding that's going to take place, I'm assuming, next week with Penelope Ford. And that happens to be, before I get into that though, I want to say that it was absolutely awesome and funny to see people that showed up that were supposed to be the best man, the way that they were hyping this up. Kipsapien told Tony Schiavone just to get out of the ring so he could make the announcement. So I loved how Brian Pillman Jr. came out, and Puff, for those who don't know who Puff is, that's a independent professional wrestler that had tag team before with Ace Romero of TNA back in the independent scene. I believe it was through Limitless Wrestling, but I could be wrong, or Beyond Wrestling, one of those type of East Coast deals. And it was kind of a comedy act, but at the end of the day, the biggest pop of the night has to be Miro, formerly known as Rusev, making his AEW debut, being known as the best man. I'm going to give this segment a 3 out of 4 stars. I think that because it was a segment, I kind of have to rank it lower, but it was absolutely amazing. I know Malcolm, if you're watching this, popped over that. So very, very, very cool moment. And I can't wait to see what Miro does in AEW. And my number 2 pick is going to be the very unique tag team matchup of the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy Jack Perry, otherwise known as the Jurassic Express, taking on the Lucha Brothers, which is Rey Fenix and Penta. So before this match had happened, the Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy Jack Perry were announced to be facing the newly won tag team champs in FTR, so I'm really excited to see how that goes. But this match, I mean, we could really see the dissension of the Lucha Brothers, and it really showed. And at the end of the day, the Jurassic Express does get the victory. But after a miscommunication that happened. But you know what? I love the match in general. It really told a story between 2 different teams, one that's going for an AEW tag team opportunity, or championship opportunity, and of course, we also have the Lucha Brothers, who's kind of descending. So we might see a lot. So this was so much great storytelling, and I absolutely loved it. I'm going to give this a 3.5 out of 4 stars. I think that, there was really so much great storytelling within this match, and I absolutely love both teams, and I wish them the best in the future endeavors. And finally, at my number 1 pick is going to be the TNT Championship match between Dustin Rhodes, who had pinned Colt Cabana, which I still don't understand how that could give you a title opportunity, but that's just me, versus Mr. Broglie, the newly won TNT champion. This was a very unique match. I mean, obviously we saw Dustin Rhodes give it his all, as per usual. Dustin Rhodes usually, to my knowledge, as far as he has been in AEW or outside of WWE, he's never put on a bad match. And this proved it worthy. And he gave it his all, but at the end of the day, Mr. Broglie does come out with the victory and retain. I love how he treats John Silver in this match. For those who don't know, that's a member of the Dark Order. Throughout this entire match, kind of like garbage. But and then at the end of the match, they do beat down on, I believe it's QT Marshall and the majority of the Nightmare family. So at the end of the day, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 4 stars. Great match. and it really told a story. I didn't think that Dustin Rhodes was going to win, but this match really kind of proved that he could win. So, a great night. I'm going to give this Night of Professional Wrestling for AEW side on Wednesdays an A-. I think that, it was a great night. There were so many great moments, but I think that NXT Super Tuesday 2 really gave it. It really gave it his all. So, thank you guys so much. I believe, before I go any further, NXT won this week. And so thank you guys so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. You already know what the deal is. And until we meet again, I will see you guys in the next episode of War Games.